We are live. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Salty Nerd Podcast Late Night Edition, where we are talking about the second best sci-fi show on the internet right now, Outer Range.
Yeah, what's the first best?
I don't know. I was making that shit up. I don't know. There's terrible sci-fi out there right now, man. This show's all right. It's doing all right.
I think the problem with sci-fi is there is mostly terrible sci-fi.
Yeah, that's the biggest issue we have right now is we're struggling to find good sci-fi out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all the sci-fi looks really good. It's just not written very well.
Can we talk about Raised by Wolves for like 5 seconds and just talk about bad sci-fi?
I couldn't even finish the first season of that show.
Yeah.
It was
awful. I got halfway through season 1. I was like, I can't.
It's gorgeous.
Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah.
But God, I don't know what they're doing.
I don't either. I didn't even understand it.
It's ridiculously stupid.
It is. Yeah. It's so weird. I don't know what's happening.
Wasn't Ragnar Lothbrok in that show?
Yeah.
He was the best part of it.
Yeah, he's the best part of it.
And they kept killing him off. And he kept coming back.
He's like the only human in that whole show. It's awful. Yeah, it's awful.
It's a very strange show. But anyway, we're here to talk about Outer Range, the 2-part season finale. So before we get into it, how did you guys feel about the 2-episode drops every week? Kadish, go ahead.
Yeah, like I feel like it was a good kind of compromise between the weekly release and the binge model, because typically, like when you sit down to binge something, you can only get through like 2.5 hours at most before most people kind of tap out. I like dropping 2 episodes at a time. It gave me enough to be like, oh, I've gotten my fill, but at the same time, it left me wanting more and wanting to see what happened next week. So I liked the 2-hour drops, each week. I thought it was good.
Tom, somebody's talking about you in the comments already. What's up, Chris? Tom nailed from the start. Silver Scale, Raised by Wolves is awesome, and I'm not stupid at all. You're gonna come to blows tonight.
Yeah, let's ask him what their favorite thing for dinner is. I bet it's macaroni and cheese and hot dogs. Just terrible taste.
What's up, JT? Welcome, everybody.
What's wrong with macaroni and cheese and hot dogs?
It shouldn't be your favorite. It shouldn't.
All right, Tom, what do you think about this 2-episode drop every week?
Yeah, Kadish hit the nail on the head. I'm one of those people that will sit and watch 6 episodes in a row and just ruin a whole day. So it's nice to like limit me to only 2 at a time. And we're like, I talk about The Expanse a lot because I love it. And it only gives me 1 episode at a time, and it drives me absolutely insane. So this was a perfect compromise. I hope they really take this and move forward with it, because I really, really like the format. Yeah.
Cool. Right on. JT wants to know if you work at the last Blockbuster with that background.
Yeah. I'm in the basement of Last Blockbuster. Parts unknown.
Tom is kind enough to take his lunch hour at work to come on this stream and talk about this show with us. So I appreciate that, Tom. Thank you so much.
Oh, man. It's a pleasure to be here, sir. You know I love this stuff.
Rewinding all the tapes. Is that your job, Tom?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you can't see it, but these are all VHSs. Like, wait, over here. Yeah, there's a whole wall of VHSs over here.
His job is actually to rewind the DVDs.
Yes. Good. You know what, man? If I could get paid for doing that, why not?
Yeah.
All right. So our first episode is episode 7. It's called The Unknown. I'll read a quick paragraph real quick, and then we'll talk about the opening. It says, opens with a flashback to Perry's childhood when he fought with Trevor at an ice skate or a rollerblading rink. And it flashes in the present. Perry confesses to killing Trevor Tillerson. However, when Deputy Sheriff Joy asks him whether his family was involved in the murder and the cover-up, he denies it. Perry also denies knowing anything about his wife Rebecca's disappearance. Perry is arrested, but the Abbotts bail him out by putting their land as collateral. I think it was a $500,000 bail bond, I believe. Autumn plots her next move and asks Billy to kill Royal. He tracks down Royal but fails to kill the Abbott patriarch. Autumn speaks with Perry and reveals the truth about Royal to him. So this opening scene, we see that Trevor and Perry have a long history of fighting, which is interesting. It seems like Perry has a violent history, or that we haven't really been alluded to until this point. Like, he had that one tiff with Trevor, but we figure he was drinking. Trevor said something about his wife. It was a one-off, but apparently this guy's not all there. So I don't know. What do you guys think about that opening scene with Royal playing the duck hunt deer thing?
I thought that 80s Josh Brolin is the best Josh Brolin with the Selleck mustache and like just the 80s outfit. I was like, give me more of this. Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't he living in the Pacific Northwest at that time? Isn't that where he was living? It's a Goonies reference. Come on, guys.
Oh, sorry, no. I don't reference that show.
Oh, you small. So salty.
No, this episode, so, just maybe jumping ahead a tiny bit, I'm getting the sense that Perry is the real villain of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just feel like this is his villain origin story, and everything in season 1 is leading up to the big reveal that he's secretly plotting against his family in some way in season 2. I don't know.
Either that or just really dumb.
Yeah, I just hate everything about Perry.
Oh, yeah.
And everything that he did this season annoyed the hell out of me.
He's quickly becoming like the least favorite character for sure, or at least the worst character in the show as far as likability goes.
When Jude and I were watching this and we saw that Royal and Cecilia put up their ranch as collateral to get him out of jail, I was like, leave him in jail.
Yeah.
Dude, for real, right?
Why does he need to be out on bail? Like, you don't need that guy walking around,
He's just going to cause more problems.
And plus, they were the Tillersons were offering them like $1 million for like their 600 acres of like their west pasture. They have something like 1,000 acres or something like that. So it's like, how is their entire ranch valued at like $500,000? Like, that didn't make any sense to me.
Well, I think what the Tillersons were doing with that $1 million offer, which was Wayne Tillerson's thing, is he was giving them such an outrageous price that they would be impossible to say no to, which they never actually got to ask them because Trevor, I think it was not Trevor, Luke Tillerson was like, I'm not giving them nothing. I'm not giving them any money. So they never got that offer. I think, honestly, if they did get that offer, that was going to be like a no-brainer for them. That would have set them up for life, and they would have been able to pay off the ranch.
They'd have never taken it.
You don't think so? You don't think Cecilia would have been like $1 million for 100 acres?
No way.
No, because the land is more important to them than the money.
Yeah.
That's always been the thing.
That chick's out there killing bears and baking dead baby bears, bite her in the hand. That chick's hardcore, bro. She ain't folding for $1 million. She needs more than that, man.
All right, the next part here. In the end, Perry and Royal have a conversation. This is a big spoiler for this episode. Have a conversation beside the black void or the void, and Royal reveals that he was born in 1886, and a flashback reveals that when he was 8 years old, Royal accidentally killed his father. And at the same time the void opened up, he jumped into the void and arrived on the Abbott family's land in 1968. So that was a big reveal for this episode. What'd you guys?
Not for me, man.
No.
Conspiracy Tom. I'm gonna go ahead and say two of my major plot theories pan out in these two episodes.
It was weird because the two main reveals for this episode were the two theories that you've had since like episode 2.
Yes.
It was nuts.
And don't forget the big reveal in the finale, which I've also been saying from the beginning.
Mm-hmm. I like this comment from Chris. The missing wife is the villain. That's a interesting idea. She shows up in this finale, and she says some things that were very interesting. I thought.
The whole thing's weird.
Yeah,
dude.
very strange.
Like you guys are right. Perry is like the secret villain. He's playing this role of like, oh, woe is me. I can't believe all of this is happening to me. And the whole time there's like still waters run deep or whatever, man. There's a storm inside that guy. And he's pretending like nothing's happening, but and all the while, I mean, he murders his neighbor.
Yeah,
he punches the dude right in the throat on purpose. It wasn't like an accidental thing.
And then beats him to death.
And then it's wild. The guy's awful. Yeah. And we don't know what happens to the wife. Either she got time looped or she just ran away. One or the other.
So here's my theory.
Okay? Oh, here we go.
So spoiler, when Royal takes Perry to the void hole. Right? and reveals to him that like when he jumped in, he traveled through time.
Mhm.
Perry, being the dickhead he is, jumps into the void hole.
Dude, he
And
knew
then the-
he
And then
knew the
whole
repercussions of his
clinches
action.
shut. The whole clinches shut right around him.
The sphincter
And,
closes.
Yeah. So my guess is that somehow Perry goes back in time, and he approaches his then wife, tells her about time travel, pulls her away, and has like this whole plan because Autumn has like the family trust. So I'm guessing that Perry went back in time and made a bunch of money setting stuff up.
Oh
Yeah.
man, that
Yeah.
I
So-
did not even think about. He Biff Tannered him, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh,
he got
he got
the
the
almanac.
Oh,
we
that's a smart theory there, Matt. That's a good one.
And we know that the traveling to the past has happened with the void hole because of the sheriff,
Yeah.
right?
Yep. The sheriff gets to see old 1800s, maybe 1700s
No,
Native American tribes.
She literally travels back in time.
Yeah,
By following the trail of the Timinium. Is that what we're calling
Timinium,
it?
yeah, that's what
Yeah.
we're calling it. Real quick though, I wanted to talk about Royal's little flashback. I love this flashback. It was so freaking cool seeing Royal as a kid and watching him. You know, he's hunting with his dad. His dad takes a few steps too far forward, and Royal puts a shot off trying to kill a deer, and he accidentally shoots his father, which is kind of, and he sees this happen. He tries to get his dad back to his house, but he's only like 8 years old. And you get Josh Brolin like narrating the whole thing, and he's like, I went and I saw my sister and my mom down there, and I just couldn't bear to go. And then like he goes out into the field and he sees the hole, and then that's when we get that flashback that we got a few weeks ago, where Wayne Tillerson was standing around the void, and the kid comes out and he like claws his way out of it. That was Royal, which we kind of speculated. It kind of gave it away at that point. But now we have absolute confirmation that Royal is from the 1800s, and I thought that was really cool. I know we kind of figured out, Tom especially, he figured it out, but just it was really nice to have confirmation.
Mm-hmm.
Really cool.
It all plays into his like, I don't know how to use their phones, and that their Google box is a mystery to me. So it all really does come together. I mean, it's time travel, but they're doing a pretty good job with it.
But the way that this episode started is with Royal doing that hunt a buck video game where he's shooting the deer and he doesn't miss. And then we find out that as a kid, he was trying to shoot a deer. He missed, hit his dad.
Yeah.
So there was some like definite foreshadowing going on in that opening scene.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like I want to talk about the bear for a second.
Yeah, let's go for it. Yeah, let's set that up a little bit. Can you tell us how that happened? What happened with that?
All right. So in the previous episode, Cecilia, the matriarch of the Abbott family, she finds a dead baby bear right in their front yard at the Abbott Ranch. And she kind of puts it in her truck and she takes it up to this like cabin that they have, like a storage shed type thing. And she keeps it in there. And for some weird reason, she's like obsessing over this poor dead baby bear. And she has it like bite her hand or something like that. And then in this episode, the mama bear shows up. And this is the mama bear that we saw kind of confront Autumn in the previous episode when she was lost
talk
in the
to
woods.
her.
And talk to her. And the mama bear comes out and finds the dead baby bear and pulls it out of the storage shed. And it's very upset that its cub has been killed or died or whatever. And this happens when Cecilia just happens to come up and to check on it. And the mama bear starts charging towards Cecilia. She grabs her shotgun, shoots the bear in the shoulder or in the heart, somewhere in the chest. And the bear kind of falls over. It's not quite dead, but it's in a lot of pain. And Cecilia, reluctantly goes up and puts it out of its misery, shoots it in the head. And if you think about it, so we have this kind of ongoing theme throughout the show where certain animals correspond to certain characters. Like you have the hawk for the sheriff, you have the buffalo for Royal, and the bear was obviously for Cecilia. And it's kind of interesting because the whole thing that Cecilia is dealing with is she's seen her family unravel throughout the course of the season. And by the time we get to the final scene of the final episode, she's like, our family is gone. Our family is dead. It's no more.
Yeah.
And in this scene, so like when she finds the dead baby cub, that's kind of representative of Amy, the granddaughter.
Mm.
And when Amy eventually disappears, like that's like her death to the family because they never get her back, right? And when the mama bear comes along, Cecilia is the mama bear of the Abbott family. She's the protector. She's like the big bad. And so when Cecilia basically kills her mama bear representation, that is like symbolic of her basically killing off the last remnants of, her protection of her family. And that's kind of the death knell of the Abbott family for her.
Mm-hmm.
And it's after that everything starts to go wrong, and then you have that final scene where Abbott, is talking to Cecilia at the dinner table, and he's like, I just want my family back. And she's like, you can't have it back because it no longer exists. And it was
kicks
very
the table over.
Yeah. Like the whole symbol of their family, which is like they always had dinner together, stuff like that. And she just, knocks.
She snaps. She snaps at Amy. That was a weird moment.
But there's a great deal of symbolism in this show, and I thought that
Mm-hmm.
the bear stuff, like taken on a service level, doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But then, like when you look at it from the point of view of like the metaphor of the Abbott family, it does make some sense. So.
Yeah. The next thing that I really want to talk about, because this was, for me, kind of came out of left field, was Billy Tillerson and Autumn. So they get together.
Can we just talk about the spittle? Can we just talk about that for just like 5 seconds? Like,
go for it.
It's like neither of them know how to kiss human beings.
No,
it's like two children that like got an idea of making out. And it's like nose licking.
It's
and,
like
it's awful.
They watched like really, really bad porn, and they were like,
Yes.
"Oh, that's how you do it."
Yeah,
they're literally trying to eat each other's faces.
It's so aggressive, and like the scene is set up like you have Billy's truck in the center of the frame, and then you have Autumn on one side and Billy on the other, and they come together and they start doing this back and forth because apparently, and this was very interesting, Billy, and I kind of commented on this, I think in the last episode that we talked about, where I'm like, I think Billy knows more than he's leading on, and it's confirmed that he does. In this episode, he describes how he took his father's rock, he crushed it up, he took the timinium, and he freaking like, when he snorted it or he licked it or something, he put it in his teeth.
He swallowed it. He
swallowed it, and then he's like, and then I had a vision of the future, and it shows him like tripping balls in the living room floor, and apparently this gets Autumn freaking all horned up because at that point they just go at it hardcore in like the most awkward makeout session.
Should we reveal like the big twist with Autumn right now so we can talk about this a bit more?
That's at the very end, man. That's at the end of the last episode.
Yeah, that's a whole nother episode.
Because
I mean, if you've been listening to this Monday night live stream, then I have already spoiled it for you many times.
This is true.
Well, what's funny is like, so there was a scene earlier on in the season where Billy is interacting with Amy, right? Where he picks her up by the side of the road, drives her back to the ranch.
A weird scene too, right?
A weird scene, but this is how like Autumn kind of sees him, right? Is like Billy is someone who has always been kind of like a child at heart, and so like he was able to connect with Amy at a certain level, and so like when it comes to Autumn, like I get the sense that like she's never kind of progressed, but she knows him through like that relationship.
Do you remember what Billy says to young Amy in that scene? You guys remember what he said?
It was creepy.
Well, it was super creepy. But he said, maybe Trevor is somewhere with your mom. As if and that line, when we watched it, that was a weird thing to say to a little kid. But now, knowing what we know from the season finale, it kind of has a new level to it. Like, okay, he does know something. He knows what's going on, but he's trying not to reveal it to Autumn too young.
I'll tell you this,
I think you're giving Billy way too much credit, man.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. Billy is my favorite character of the show.
He's so weird.
I love him. That scene at the bank where he comes in
and just
start
making out. Yes,
and it's like they got like the power ballad in the background. As they're like,
dude, Matt, I swear to God,
great. It was fantastic.
You're gonna write this into your next book, and it's gonna piss me off.
That freaking power ballad was epic for sure.
Dude, the worst part is there's no music. The music is in the score, right? It's not actually playing in the bank.
No, yeah,
and then
no.
he just belts it out.
Yeah.
It's non-diegetic music. It's like the characters
Non-diegetic,
it,
yes,
but
that's
no one
it.
else
Thank you.
does. You know,
Yes.
the audience can hear it, but no one else does. but like the cinematography changes. It gets like brighter.
Yeah.
And the two of them are just like spittle is like connecting their lips and stuff, and their tongues are just like fighting each other. It was hilarious. And, like everyone in the bank is like,
what in the hell is going on? Because like
everyone in the bank, everyone at home, everywhere.
From their perspective, it's just this dude singing out of tune to no music whatsoever and making out with his girlfriend. It's hilarious.
And dude, she carved her symbol.
Yes, I was gonna say, guys, dude, that was such a crazy weird. Like, if you meet a girl like this,
Bob Thornton and Angelina Jolie shit.
She takes his pocket knife out of his back pocket, opens it up, and looks at him, and he's looking at her all seductive, and she's like, "Can I?" And he's like, "Yeah, go ahead." She rips open his shirt and starts carving the freaking symbol in his chest, and he's into it. It's so weird.
But that's Billy for you, man. Billy's into like some weird shit.
Billy, I'm legit. Billy is like the reincarnation of Wayne Tillerson. Like that dude is just as weird as Billy is.
I don't know if you guys noticed or not, but in the penultimate episode,
it
was the only episode Billy didn't sing in.
Wait, we talking about the Pentaveret now? What are you talking about?
No.
Penultimate.
Penultimate. This is the penultimate episode.
Yeah, in the penultimate episode. No.
Oh, did he not sing?
Yeah, in the penultimate episode, he did not sing at all.
Oh, okay. That was in the last. Okay, gotcha. All right. The next thing that happens is Billy finds Royal on the side of the road. Royal's truck has broken down, and Billy offers him a ride, which then inevitably leads to, "I'm now kidnapping you, and I'm going to kill you." And
why did he get in that truck?
I don't know. Like, well, he was like, "Nah, I'm good. Don't worry about it."
So when I told you guys yesterday how annoyed I was with these two episodes, you both berated me and made fun of me and picked on me. And now that we're talking about it, dude, there were so many like weird plot devices and stupid decisions in these two episodes to just really. I mean, this is another one of them. Why would you get in that truck?
I don't know. He takes him back to what I'm assuming is the old rollerblading rink. Am I right in assuming that?
Yeah.
Takes him back to the old roller skating rink and puts him on his knees in the middle of the freaking floor and points a gun to his head. And for whatever reason, just decides, I'm not going to kill him. Like, he had him right there. He could have done his job, but he didn't do it. Do you guys remember?
Well, the thing is Autumn didn't want to kill him. He just wanted to scare him off.
Okay. Well,
like you got to remember, Autumn knows who
everybody is.
Royal is.
Yeah.
And so she knows that he's coming for her, but she doesn't want to kill him, right?
I don't know. I don't know. Is that? Are we sure? Because I've seen all these episodes, and that's not the feeling I got.
No, I mean, like she definitely doesn't want to kill Royal. She just wants to make it so that Royal doesn't kill her. But for whatever reason, she doesn't reveal the secret to him. So, like, I'm wondering, when she's off her med, she has this weird thing about being the queen of space and time.
Yeah.
And like knowing that there's like a greater plan at play and that there's all this stuff that she has to bring about for whatever reason, because like we're not seeing the bigger picture yet or how Royal fits into that. And Royal definitely plays a part. And so, like, she doesn't want to take him off the board yet.
She also knows when he dies.
This is also true.
Well, does she though?
Older, I guess. Future Autumn knows.
Well, future.
She
Autumn
is.
there
She is future Autumn.
Yeah,
she is future Autumn.
Is she though?
Yes. Yes. Spoiler alert.
I don't know about that.
She's older. She's older Amy. But she's not. We haven't seen her become full on like yellow.
I thought we weren't getting.
Sorry. Spoiler alert.
So you think that she just aged 20 years in like 5 minutes just for fun, and then also lives another 20 years into the future? I don't know.
Well, it's only 2 years. Royal
it's not
dies.
2 years because she's not. How old's the little girl? Can we just do this now? Should we just do this now?
Yeah, Amy is Autumn. It's the same person, right? Spoiler. Yeah, big fat spoiler for.
But if the mother takes her to the past, and then she ages up to that point when she meets Royal.
Oh, so yeah. So another big thing is Rebecca shows up again at the midpoint of the final season or the final episode.
That's Perry's wife. And
Perry's wife is Rebecca, and she takes Amy, and we finally
see her. And we finally see her. That's also weird.
She looks way different than I expected.
Mm-hmm.
She looks so much more. She looks so much more like Autumn than I expected. Like I for whatever reason, when Cecilia sees what she thinks is Rebecca in that truck drive by, it was a brunette with a baseball hat on. And in this scene where we get Rebecca's reveal, she's like stark, like straight blonde, just like Autumn is. So
California girl. Yeah.
Yeah, I was not expecting that. That was crazy.
Oh, there's so much weird. I mean, I feel like the decisions, especially in the very final episode, just bummed me out so bad, man. And we can get into it, but let's just keep going.
What'd you guys think about Luke Tillerson trying to kill his father? That was a weird moment too, because he gets into his dad. I don't know
what that was all about.
Like, okay,
I didn't know what character for him.
I didn't know what was going on.
But what does he gain?
He gains the inheritance, or I guess now
it all goes to his brother.
Yeah, it goes to Billy. Well, he'd rather deal with Billy than he would his Wayne.
Why doesn't he kill his brother?
Also, his mom has a plan for that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Luke.
She wasn't in either episode either, was she?
No, she wasn't.
Just the voice, the voice though.
Mm-hmm. And she was a little sprinkle in the flashback at the roller skating rink when young Trevor got beat up.
But still, weird that she wasn't present in anything, because she's obviously the ringleader of that side.
Well, guys, I don't know if you noticed this, but we actually in these 2 episodes we discover that you can time travel without having to go through the void hole.
Yeah, we knew that.
And that was with Sheriff Joy.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy who was insistent about like the evil mastodons.
Yes,
it comes
Frank.
back.
Yeah. Frank comes back and lays down some weird freaking things.
And so she like actually starts to go to investigate like what he's talking about, and ends up getting stuck in like Indian times. It's so weird, man. But I thought that was super interesting.
How about Luke's hole that he's digging?
Oh, yeah. Luke goes a little crazy.
Yeah.
So, well, Luke makes the connection that the timenium is an actual mineral.
Yeah.
And so he starts, once the void hole closes up, he starts looking for like where the source of it came from, and he finds the time tar, which is like the liquid version of the timenium. And so
we got to keep a list of these terms we're making up, man. This is the void hole.
Yeah. Time tar, timenium.
Yeah, he strikes it rich with the time tar, and he's digging the hole.
He's like, move to Beverly Hills.
Yeah, and then like a huge
a herd of buffalo comes streaming out of the freaking hole,
stampeding out of the time tar.
That was the weirdest thing for me, because I like time oil. Yeah, that was the weirdest thing for me, because I was watching this episode and I'm like, what the hell is Luke doing? Like, Luke straight up went crazy for a while. He starts digging random holes everywhere. And then we, like, out of this tiny little tar, what did you call it? Time tar?
Time tar.
It's this little tiny bit of time tar. Not very big at all. Maybe like a softball size hole.
He loaded up the truck and he moved to Beverly.
That's it.
Like,
Hills, that is.
An entire herd of buffalo comes rushing out of this tiny little hole.
Weird.
Weird.
It's the same herd that Sheriff Joy saw.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're assuming.
Yes,
yeah.
I'm assuming. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So,
well, we've established that there's a connection between Royal's original time period, which was what, 1883?
1890? This is 1890?
I want to say it was earlier than that.
When was that? 1886 is when Royal was 8 years old.
Yeah, so 1886. There's a connection between 1886 and the current time, and we keep seeing like things from that time period coming to the present, and then things from the present going into the future, right?
Yeah.
So I do think that's the same buffalo herd that the sheriff saw.
Yeah. So
And that was that scene with the teepees and the buffalo. That was also in the beginning of the show. Do you guys remember that where they were talking about time?
Yes.
And we've lived these lives 1,000 times or something like that, right? It's the exact same scene. So also interesting. I mean, obviously they could just be reusing footage, which I don't think they're going to, because they're obviously spending money on the show. But it is interesting that it's the exact same scene.
Yeah.
Mm.
So the next episode opens up with Sheriff Joy overlooking the valley with the buffalo, and then it
She's
cuts.
got no cell signal.
Yeah, no second signal. So
Which,
she's. I
which,
wonder.
which proves that she's in the past. Because
Oh, definitely. Yeah, that definitely proves it.
So can she?
Every
can
time
she
I
get
lose cell
back?
signal, I'm in the past, of course.
well, that's the real question, right? Is she stuck in the past, or is there a way to find that trail that led
We
her
don't know.
there?
I
don't
will
know.
say
back.
this: she is extremely fortunate that she is of Native American descent, because those people would have killed a white person if they showed up back then. Like, I'm just watching this and I'm like, man, it's so like Sheriff Joy needed to be Native American. She would not have made it if she was stuck in 1886 or whatever year that was. Like, it's just a bad timing. But yeah, it was an interesting scene. So the next part, okay, so we get a little bit of a clip of Perry falling through the void, which she jumped in. So the ending of the first episode 7,
Yeah.
Perry jumps into the void hole, and the void hole closes.
Can I just talk about how Jude and I screamed at the screen? It's like, you cost your family the ranch, you asshole.
I did the
Yes.
exact same thing. I was so mad at Perry.
The
I mean,
whole
why would he do that?
because
He- He caused all of this.
maybe he
I
knows
think-
he caused all this.
It's
I
all
think
Perry's fault.
Well, I think Autumn told him more than we know she did, and he realizes that he has to do this.
Mhm.
Well, Autumn knows that that's her father, which is why she's weird with him, right?
Yeah.
So much weird, man.
So,
Further. Keep going.
The entire season, we were I was getting the vibe that like Autumn was like wanting to have sex with Perry, and it's like, oh no, she's just having a
Weird.
nice conversation with her dad.
Just having weird daddy vibes.
We're daddy vibes.
For sure. All right. The next significant scene in episode 8, which is the final episode, called "The West," we get a clip of Billy, who's singing to his sleeping father Wayne in bed, and Billy takes out a Ziploc baggie of timinium and sprinkles it on Wayne's lips and like rubs it all up into him, and I'm like, well, he
Wayne
doesn't.
is tripping time balls.
Yes, Wayne is.
Episode.
Yes, Wayne is straight having visions of the future while he's there in a coma, and I'm wondering what the aftermath is of that's going to be, because
Well, I think he's going to wake up because, spoiler alert, Billy dies in the finale, which I absolutely hate because he was my favorite character. But once Tillerson wakes up, he's going to be pissed.
yeah,
And
He's not asleep, bro. He had a stroke.
yeah,
You
yeah.
don't wake up from strokes.
No, the timinium is going to heal him somehow.
Mm.
You think?
I don't know. Maybe.
Or
So-
maybe
So let's talk about the mineral for a second, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
So if you only expose a little bit of it to you, your mind transports through time, right?
Mhm.
Just your mind,
Yeah.
right? And if you like immerse yourself in it or walk a trail with the timinium on it, then you literally travel through time.
right.
These rules are already getting very weird for me. What do you guys think, especially for like sci-fi fans and I love time travel. It's always so much fun in these movies, right? But what exactly are we talking about here? Obviously, the whole has nothing to do with anything.
The
right?
whole is obviously a byproduct of something to do with the Abbots.
So
Because
basically, the way I'm looking at it, they make a big deal to say that this stuff is from the Earth, that it's a
Yeah.
naturally occurring thing. It's just
Mhm.
super rare. And Autumn explains in an earlier episode that time is the fourth dimension, and that
Mhm.
this timinium stuff allows humans to experience or see the fourth dimension. And because like we experience our reality
Yeah,
in three
right,
dimensions, right?
right.
So this is something that gives us the ability to enter into that fourth dimension.
Mhm.
So what we've seen is like when it gets on people's skin and it gets absorbed into their bodies, they're able to have visions. When people swallow it, they basically have these like really hardcore visions. When people like I guess like follow it, if there's enough of it, it can create
Yeah,
like a portal.
like a portal. So
Yeah.
what I got from it was when Joy followed the trail on the ground. The trail, I believe, had to have at some point just kind of like spread out across an entire area. And once you kind of cross that threshold, you pass through this portal.
And there were those symbols that were kind of like showing her the way.
Yeah, on the rocks, which is the same arrow that Autumn carves on herself and carves on Billy. And I think the void specifically belongs to the Abbott family because it opens up when Royal regrets killing his father by accident. And he said, I just felt like I wanted to disappear. That's when the void emerges. It comes out of nowhere. It just opens up in the ground and he jumps through it. And then apparently it's gone for decades because Royal grows up to become an older man, and then something triggers it to happen again where he's having these regrets, or maybe he's feeling like he wants to disappear or something.
Well, we find the concentrated time tar beneath the surface, which is what Luke was looking for.
Okay, remember I was saying it was dark and I couldn't tell? Where was he digging? Where was he?
He was digging in the spot where the void hole was.
So I don't think he was actually, Kadish.
No,
I think there was a gate not too far away from him. I think it was right on the property line between the Abbotts and Tillersons. Let me see if I can pull that scene up real quick.
Because it was so one of my major gripes was so much of this happened in like absolute darkness that I was really having a tough time following. Like, okay, we said it already. Billy dies, and I wasn't 100% sure what exactly happened in that whole scene until like he drags her out and Billy's dead and all that kind of stuff. And so.
Well, I mean,
a lot of the choices were so weird in these last two episodes. It's just such a bummer. Such a bummer.
I don't know about that. Like, I actually really enjoyed these last two episodes, with the exception of Rhett's story, like Rhett Abbott. I didn't care.
I feel like they're trying to write him off the show.
I hope so, because he's so not interesting.
Yeah,
like
his girlfriend's cute.
Yeah, him and Mary, like he goes off and he does his rodeo thing and he wins or something like that. And then he goes to Mary and he's like, hey, I'm done with this place. I want to leave with you and run away and be in love. And I'm like, at that point in time, if they were just like, yeah, he leaves and he's out of the show and we're just going to continue with the Abbotts without him, I'd be like, okay, that totally makes sense. Because he's so checked out of this whole situation.
He'll come back in season 3 and like, I'm too good for all of you. And then they'll kill him and we'll be like, oh, that's good. That's good. This show's better again. All right.
Let me see if you know what? I have to agree with Tom because I'm trying to pull up the scene where Luke is digging in the dirt.
I remember that they showed like his truck in the distance.
Yeah. So here let me see.
What does that mean? They're on like 20 million acres or something. They could be anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, was it in his front yard? It could have been his front yard. I don't know.
It wouldn't make sense for him to be digging anywhere else because like he'd be wanting to, try to find the mineral that is going to make him rich beyond his wildest dreams, and it would have to be in the area where like the hole was.
So this is the scene that Kadish is talking about, where all we get is a truck and a hole. Yeah. I guess he might have gone back to where the void was.
I read this as he drove his truck out to where the hole was because he knows at this point that was closed up.
Well, Matthew, admittedly, you're smarter than most people.
He starts digging around, trying to find like the exact area where the hole was because he doesn't know it. And he used the truck because like he wanted to bring his digging tools with him. So.
Come on, digging tools.
That's what I read.
Come on, digging tools for the void hole.
My digging tools.
So I gotta bring this comment up. This is pretty good from Joey. What's up, man? It says, so like it's like oil that can power time cars through the fourth dimension, like regular unleaded. Is there unleaded oil? Regular oil propels you through the third dimension.
Only at 88 miles per hour.
Only if they go 88 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Oh man, let's see what this one says. Bewilderness Surgeon. What's up, dude? That's a creepy ass freaking avatar. Joy, Wayne Tillerson, and even Perry are in the scene where Royal falls into the future. That's true. Yes, the whole family is there. Joy, Wayne, Perry, and also Autumn is there too.
And Autumn is there, yeah. They're all there.
What was Perry?
And Luke. And Luke's there.
Luke is there too.
I don't remember seeing Perry in that.
Yeah, Luke shoots him.
Future.
Luke shoots him. I don't know.
Well, yeah. Luke shoots him because he killed, Bobby, I guess, or Billy. And but I remember seeing Autumn there. I remember seeing Luke there. I don't remember seeing Perry there. I don't know that Cecilia was there, but it was the
first episode. It all blurs together. It's hard to recall. Yeah, it's hard to recall. But honestly, they Bonnie and Clyde him, like, right? So Autumn obviously wants him dead, and Billy ends up dead, and Autumn ends up basically dead.
Mhm.
And the theory that she doesn't want him dead. I mean, they literally ambush him in the street and like try to murder him
Yeah.
in pitch black. By the way, pitch black.
Yeah, and then
barely can tell what's going on.
They get into like a semi-high speed pickup truck
Mhm.
chase with guns, where Royal is chasing down Autumn and Billy in the truck ahead, and he's got his pistol, and they're back and forth firing at each other. Finally, Royal gets out his sniper rifle or his hunting rifle with the scope on it. He sits there as they're driving, and he freaking blows Billy's heads off.
Is that how it happened?
He blows Billy's heads off. Yes.
Honestly, it's a blur. I couldn't tell what was happening.
No, he ran out of bullets for his revolver, so he pulls out his hunting rifle, sticks it through a bullet hole in his windshield, takes a shot, and just happens to hit Billy right in the back of the head.
Yeah. And just,
I remember the blood. I saw that part.
Yeah, all you see is just like the window just turns completely red, and like, oh shit, and then the truck veers off, falls down the cliff,
flips over, and all that stuff. But like, I don't think that. So when Autumn calls up Abbott, she tells him she's in town, and I don't think they were meant to necessarily ambush him to kill him. I think that Autumn has some type of plan or like vision that she's following. And she doesn't know all the details, but she knows that like I can't kill Royal, and he's not going to kill me. But she was genuinely surprised by Billy's death. So like there's a lot of stuff going on here where I don't think she knows everything. But I also think that Perry and her mom, who the time travel versions of them, have some type of influence here that we have yet to uncover. So like it's obvious that that Autumn is kind of like playing the role of like the Oracle,
Yeah.
And
I saw her pep talk in the Dairy Queen bathroom. Yeah.
Oh, whatever that actress was, it Imogen Poots. She is freaking brilliant, dude. When she when she goes crazy and she has that like monologue where she's just staring straight into the camera, it was freaking intense, dude.
Yeah, there's a big difference between like hippie Autumn and like bitch I'll cut you Autumn.
Yeah,
like when she
that bank scene with Mary.
Yeah.
Oh my God, with the gun?
Yeah, with the gun. Here, hold it for me, bitch. And she's like, I'm not gonna hold your freaking gun. What are you, crazy? Like that whole scene was intense.
Now, excuse me while I tongue wrestle with Billy over here.
Yeah, for the power ballad.
Yeah, for the power. I love that scene, man. That
Matt, you suck so bad. Oh my God.
Hear me out.
I've heard you out for the past several weeks. You're wrong.
That scene reminds me of a Paul Thomas Anderson movie. Like if you've ever seen a Paul Thomas Anderson movie, like that scene where like those two like weirdly emotionally stunted people just start like making out with each other in the grossest way possible, like that's straight up Paul Thomas Anderson.
I got to read this comment real quick from Silver Scale. It says, yeah, that was really bizarre escalation. All the murdering. 5 minutes ago, they were all scared Joy's into them. Now it's shootouts in the middle of the road. What the hell?
So many weird decisions.
I think everything had just come to a head at that point, and they were all just kind of like revealing too much about themselves. And
so something I want revealed, because like I can complain about these 2 episodes forever as you guys let me. Billy's vision, right? Billy says that he's in the future, standing at her side, and she's like the mother of the world. Mm-hmm. Okay, but he's dead now.
Maybe the future's not settled. Maybe he had a vision of a future that he was alive in.
But so that goes to what Matt was saying about Perry being some part of this and affecting the future from the past. It's an interesting idea, man. And I because Matt said that, I'm actually interested in season 2 now. But until then, man, I don't care. I didn't care.
I want to bring this up real quick. This is a great comment, by the way. I agreed with Kadish. Bank scene was fantastic.
God. There's some sick people in this world, bro.
I just want to bring this up, though. Did we actually see Billy's body?
Yes, we did.
We did?
I'm pretty sure his head popped.
Yeah.
Well, we saw blood splatter. We saw blood splatter.
Well, his corpse was hanging upside down when Royal kind of looked into the cab, and then he found Autumn kind of crawling away from it, and he was about to kill her when the stampede happened.
Okay, I'm watching I've got the
then
scene pulled up.
She got kind of run over by the stampede a couple of times.
Yeah, Game of Thrones rules, right? If you didn't see them, if they're not dead, they might not be dead.
His brain splattered all over the windshield.
Dude, I'm with you, man. I hate Billy. I hope he's dead.
I'm watching it right now. I know it's kind of dark. I can't share it. Never mind. I'm watching it right now. It's very, very dark, but we do see Billy motionless with blood all over the place. I wouldn't necessarily call it a kill shot. He's definitely unconscious.
Well, one of the interesting things about a show that deals with time travel is that is anyone really dead? Because we know that Royal dies at a certain point, but
we know that Royal dies in a certain future. In a certain future, Royal dies.
Yeah. But could let's say Autumn go back in time and somehow save Billy, like Back to the Future 2 rules, where there's a version of her and then there's another version of her hiding behind a car. It's like, we gotta save Billy.
Oh my God! Can we get like a season 2, but it's campy and it's like it's like them from the future, like moving things, like I got it, hiding keys,
and then Perry shows up with the almanac,
Yes. He's
like Donald Trump all of a sudden.
The hair.
Real quick, I want to read
riding a big old mastodon into town.
I'm still waiting on the mastodon. I was promised the mastodon.
Yeah,
I've only got buffalo over and over. I've seen buffalo before.
When Sheriff Joy looked off screen, I was like, "It's a mastodon. It's got to be a mastodon."
Wouldn't that be amazing?
I wanted the mastodon. That would have been better. That would have been
incredible. That would have been incredible. I'm down. Give me dinosaurs. Screw it.
Because then she's like, "Oh, it's all real."
Well, she doesn't know what's happening yet, though. Right?
Real quick, I want to address the sign, which
one of my favorite things in the whole thing. Right,
this scene, this billboard takes captures the full screen several times in this episode. It says, "America tells you that the only things worth knowing are those which can be known. America is wrong." What significance do you guys think this has? Tom, go ahead. We'll start with you, and then we'll go to Kadish.
Dude, it's full on. It's what I preach constantly, right? is that you don't know what history is. You don't know what truth is because someone just told you, right? And you're just trusting somebody that you've never met, that you don't know anything about, that they're going to tell you the truth, right? When in fact they probably don't know the truth themselves. And it's a total indictment of modern society where you don't really know anything because people just tell you what to think. It's fascinating.
Why do you think they took a specific shot at America and not just like people tell you that the only thing, like what's the significance of them like throwing down with America specifically?
Well, it's popular culture to crap on America, so there's that.
You think it's as simple as that?
No, I don't. But that is one easy answer that I can give you. The other is America is the warden or police state of the world since World War II, right? And so America is the one headlining disinformation. They're the ones teaching you the wrong thing, right? The show is pretty conservative, but I wouldn't say it's right leaning, right? So it's just a very interesting statement. It was probably my favorite thing from the last couple shows, that it's very thought provoking, and you don't really know anything until you know it, right?
Okay. Kadish, what's your take on this billboard?
So first of all, I find it interesting that this billboard's actually on Abbott land, because they drive by it when they're leaving the ranch and stuff like that all the time, and like if you really look at like what it says, America tells you that the only things worth knowing are those which can be known, and America is wrong. It's basically a billboard about faith, right? It's about it's about believing in stuff that you don't know and can't explain and can never explain, and so it's kind of a religious billboard.
So you think it ties in more with Cecilia Abbott, because she's the one who's had kind of like a crisis of faith in this season.
Well, I mean, if you think about, there was a conversation about that Abbott had. I don't remember if it was episode 9 or not, but he's having a conversation with someone about God, and they ask him like, "Do you believe in God?" And he's like, I hate God. Or God's a bastard or something.
Yeah, he goes hard on that scene. That was really good scene.
And I think the response was something like, well, just because God is responsible for all the good things and the bad things doesn't mean he doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
And so like there's this kind of like interesting through line throughout the series where Abbott hates God for like what happened with his father and all the bad things that happen in life and stuff like that. And Cecilia is kind of like the exact opposite, where like she's very hardcore with her faith, and she eventually like has a crisis of faith because of all the bad things that are happening to her. And so that billboard is basically saying that, in America, where like we place more importance on, logic and reason, there's an importance of faith that, you have to be like, the unknown is worth trying to figure out or worth accepting in some sense. And so this entire series, it's kind of a metaphor for the entire series, right? Where like there's all this like stuff that like we don't know, don't understand, and can never possibly hope to understand, and that is worth believing in as opposed to knowing, I guess. So like it was it was very much in your face. Like I was like, oh yeah, it's about subtle as a chainsaw there.
Yeah.
But it like this show is just filled with metaphors. It's filled with symbolism. And that's what makes it interesting, is because like you can read, like depending on who's watching it, like they can read different stuff into it. Like Tom went the conspiracy theory route, I went the religious route, and both are right, So
yeah, I think that's the show's strong point. Yeah, that's this show's strongest point, is that there's so many different things that you could take in multiple different ways, and neither of them are wrong. It's a very.
I like watching Billy make out with Autumn. Tom doesn't. Who's to say who's right?
Me.
Who's right or who's wrong?
I want to say like
let the audience speak. We got 14 people watching right now. Comment below, guys.
I like the spit string.
Oh god, the light hit it just right. It was awful.
Autumn and Billy forever.
Yeah.
I just want to point out that the most interesting thing that we've all been talking about is that billboard. It was the most. It was. I mean, I don't want to say it was the most interesting thing in the show, but it was just such a in your face like.
They really wanted you to pay
read this
attention
like bit of almost poetry, and interpret it as you will, and just like Matt said, we both saw. I see exactly what Matt's saying, and Matt's seeing what I'm saying, but you interpret these things differently, and that was probably my favorite thing that happened in the past 2 episodes. It was such a cool scene. I do
wish that they had introduced the billboard earlier in the season. Like shown it to us just for a single shot.
Just drive by
2 or 3. Yeah, and that way, because like we didn't see it until episode 9.
Yeah.
Right? And it just kind of like, oh, what was that doing there? Okay.
I'd be interested to go back and rewatch a couple of the early episodes and see if maybe it was there and we just missed it because we weren't looking for it. Because
I think I'd remember seeing it.
Well,
I really did.
It struck me as so powerful, and I remember reading it, and I remember almost memorizing it when I read it because it was powerful. And Matt's right; the symbolism of the show, we don't get the symbolism of everything yet. But Matt's really a really good storyteller, and he sees this stuff coming better than we do. And there is just so much symbolism and interesting thought that goes into this. And when it's time travel, the more thought that goes into it, the more interesting it's going to be. So yeah, it was huge.
And I don't know if you guys noticed, so like the symbol that Autumn's obsessed with, the little arrow,
the greater than sign,
yeah. So well, I mean, like it's a rewind sign, right?
Or it's the Abbott family crest. Is
that a knock at me working at Blockbuster, Matthew? How dare you?
Because if you think about it, right? So like the idea that Autumn went to the past and then grew up so that she's like that age in the present. Then there's the sheriff who like was following the trail, and by the trail there was that big symbol, and she went into the past. And so there might be like a way to determine like what rewinds and goes into the past and what fast forwards and goes into the future.
So you think depending on the direction of the symbol tells you like what direction you're going to go in time?
What if they find that half circle with a 10 in it? They only go back 10 seconds? It's a good idea. It's a good idea. That's a good idea. That's an interesting idea.
And the Abbott symbol is straight up, which means it's the present, right?
You could say that. You could definitely say that.
I thought it was for Abbott, but yeah, that could be right. Yeah, that could be right. Oh, here's Vader.
Barbarian Space Viking.
There he is.
Yeah, the guy who watched the entire season and knows exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, Vader, what's your 2 cents on the season finale?
Yes.
It definitely happened.
It was something.
Yeah.
I like. Okay, so Silver Scale says it's a forward triangle in a circle. The Abbott Ranch sign turned on its side and more like a play button. Okay.
Or a forward button.
Mm-hmm.
Forward or backwards. But how many years we don't know. That's the interesting thing, right?
A play button's a actual
triangle. Yeah, a sideways triangle. This is just an arrow.
Yeah, but this is ancient Indians. They didn't have the full technology, so they only had the.
That's actually if we are right and even assuming any of this.
It's like we don't have the technology for the third line to make the triangle yet. Hopefully one day we will have that technology.
Wait, what kind of accent was that?
That's his attempt at a Norwegian accent from Norseman.
It's half Indian, half Norwegian.
Not only is he the slayer of words, he is the slayer of accents.
Oh man, you should hear him try to do a Arnold Schwarzenegger accent. It's hilarious.
Stop it.
Stop it now! Get to the Java.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
A lot of people tell me I sound like George Lucas just naturally.
Yeah, you do. You have that kind of like I don't give a shit about anything cadence.
It's just, you have that rubbing your head voice, just like that. Yeah. Well, we could try that, but how about we do what I thought?
I might have gone too far in some places.
The surgeon says, or it's just an arrow, meaning go this way, which is I think is like what's that called? Occam's razor. It's like the simplest answer is the one that's most likely correct. Yeah.
There's nothing simple with this show, though.
That's true.
It's time travel.
Everything has a double meaning.
Yeah.
All right. So
you know what's not simple? Trying to drink out of your cup and show your show at the same time.
You got to move the lid. You got to move the lid
in the right spot.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right, let's do final thoughts and whether or not give it a rating and what we're looking forward to for season 2. Tom, go ahead, buddy. What is your final thoughts on season 1 of Outer Range, and what do you expect to see in season 2?
Oh my God. Okay. If it was a mini series and they ended it with a solid 8-hour show, I would have given it a different score. Right now, I'm leaving it at a 7 out of 10. It's very good, very enjoyable. It's inspiring a lot of conversation. So, get in the community and talk to people about it because it is interesting with a lot of layers and symbolism. So if you're a fan of sci-fi, you're a fan of cowboys, you're a fan of Josh Brolin, you're a fan of making out and terrible music, like Matt is, then it's fun. And I think it's totally worth a watch. I've been telling people for weeks to watch it. I don't know if they are, but I've been telling people to watch it. It's a fun take on sci-fi cowboys. The last one we got was Cowboys versus Aliens. I liked that too. So I don't know. It's a fun show. It's not perfect by any means. Season 2, I need a lot more answers. I don't want this to be an 8-season run. I want them to wrap it up and give me a solid story. I don't want this to turn into Lost. I don't want endless nonsense going on and rabbit holes and literal holes that we keep falling down.
Void holes.
Void holes. I want there to be a story in place and a full idea. And as long as that's happening, I'll ride it out till the end just because I like time travel and Josh Brolin rocks the shit in this show. So it's worth watching. I liked it. I don't know when season 2 is coming out, but I'm looking forward to it.
I like this comment from Joey. It says, but it still has that whiff of JJ.
Well, there's not a lot of lens flares, so it's not too JJ Abrams. But no. I get that. I get it.
It has a lot of mystery boxes.
And it's actually good. So
yeah. Well, no, you don't like JJ Abrams, really? Come on. Paying the late fees.
Super chat from JT, $2 for the blockbuster late fees.
Yeah. It's actually orange and blue. It's not yellow and blue, but
it looks yellow in the camera.
Did you guys hear about the Netflix documentary about the last blockbuster that's still operating?
Yes.
Didn't I already watch that?
I watched that one.
Bend, Oregon.
Yeah, I've seen it.
They're making like a series, like an Office.
That's what I mean. The series.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a TV show. They're turning it into a TV show.
Is Mike Myers going to play all the characters?
I don't know. That's Pentarna, which we might cover in a couple. Pentaveret.
It was brilliant.
It's the best Mike Myers content.
Brilliant.
Tom, it will blow your mind.
It is.
I
It is.
watched the first two. I watched the first two episodes.
Yeah, Conspiracy Tom, dude. That show's right up your. Yeah.
I don't trust anything that Kadish says is brilliant.
Yeah, me neither.
So,
I wouldn't call it brilliant, but it is the best Mike Myers content to have come out since probably one of the Austin Powers movies.
The second Austin Powers movie.
I want to visit Nuts Deep, New York.
Yes, which is totally an actual
You
town.
want half in.
Yeah, half in. It's a deep log halfway in.
So here's my take.
Or Kaka, Canadian news station, Kaka News,
CACA News,
CACA.
Yeah. The resolution's not as good in Canada. Yeah, good jokes. Okay, so here's my take, and when I say it out loud, you're gonna Mike Myers everywhere, all the time, all at once. Yeah,
I love it. Silver Scale, thank you. Hold on, Tom. Silver Scale for the $5 super chat. I keep forgetting super chats are available. Fun chat, thank you. Well,
yes,
nice of you to find out now for the season finale.
Way to ring it in for a bang, huh?
No, thank you so much, man. $5. Thank you. It's a wonderful thing.
Halfway in.
Yeah.
Big dicks let's save our Pentaveret talk for the next live stream because it's worth talking about.
It is.
Yeah, it's worth talking about.
All right, I'm going to give this show. I'm actually on the same scale as Tom. I think it's a 7 out of 10. It's thoroughly enjoyable. I will say the biggest negative is I think these 2-episode finale, I felt like they were a little rushed. There was like Tom said, there was weird like sudden changes in characters' personalities and like going from like talking to each other and trying to figure shit out to like straight up murdering each other in the street. I feel like they probably needed 10 episodes and then a full 10-episode series. They might have been able to kind of like explain this finale a little bit more and kind of dive deeper into it. But I thoroughly enjoyed the show. It was great. I had a lot of fun with it. Josh Brolin freaking steals every scene, especially the Fritos. There are no Fritos in that hole, Carl. That was the best freaking line of the whole show.
And
God damn,
Carl's
I love
dead.
that. Carl's
Buffalo
dead.
Killed Carl.
Yeah, Carl's dead. There ain't no freaking Fritos in hell, Carl. That was a great scene. The Imogen Poots, who plays Autumn, is fantastic. She's so creepy. She's so good at it. And she's a wonderful kisser.
You sure her last name's not Skarsgård? Because she is creepy.
Super creepy. I thoroughly had a great time with it. For the second season, I'm going to agree with Tom. I need answers. I don't want the mystery box. I don't want freaking 3, 4, 5 seasons of like, oh, what are they going to do next? Like, polish this up in a nice 8-episode season 2 and have it be
Is this a bad robot show?
No.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, it's like, all right.
It's some weird playwright.
Yeah. But those are my final thoughts. I would definitely suggest people go check it out. If you know somebody who's itching for like cool time travel sci-fi, I would suggest Outer Range. Kadish, give it a rating. Final thoughts on the entire season.
I agree with you guys. It's like a 7 out of 10 for me. It's a very solid first season. I think it introduced its concept really well. The characters are all very well defined, great actors. The storytelling, like mythology heavy shows like this, like the best ones always ask a lot of questions, get you thinking about the answers, and then like trickle out the answers little by little. And the best ones always, like when they give you a big answer, they raise more questions. The difference between something like this and a show like Lost, which did the kind of like the same thing, is that I feel like this show has like a plan. Because when you deal with time travel, if you don't have the plan, shit goes sideways really quick.
Real fast.
And while I was watching this season, never did I feel like, oh, this time travel stuff doesn't make any sense. Like the rules as they've been presented to us so far make a lot of sense. Like we don't have all the answers, but I'm never sitting there like being taken out of the episode being like, wait a minute, why didn't this happen or this happen or this happen? Like they're playing it very well. And that to me means that the writers kind of know what they're doing and have like an overarching plan for the story. Now I could be wrong. I was wrong about it when it came to Lost because I thought up until the last season that the writers actually knew what they were doing. They didn't.
Nope.
But I don't get that feeling from this show. And so I think that if they do like a 3-season arc and give us answers and keep feeding us bigger questions and then like blow our minds in like the last couple episodes of like the series, then I'll be very happy I started watching the show.
Right on. Real quick, I just wanted to give a big shout out to My Son and I podcast. These guys are a big fan of the podcast, of our podcast, and they actually have an Apple TV movie documentary available right now. It's a story about a father and a son, and the stuff that they go through with some illnesses and whatnot. It's a wonderful documentary. They're big supporters of the podcast. They reach out to us on Instagram all the time. So shout out to those guys.
And they have great taste in Epic's original series as well, because that show From, like, if you guys like Outer Range, From is like just like it, except way more scary and supernatural. Like Jude and I have been really liking From. Like, it's a great show.
I think I might check it out pretty soon. I wanted to finish Outer Range before I picked up a new show, but once again, Apple TV, if you guys have it, check it out. It's called Dads. It's available right now. It's a really cool little documentary.
You don't want to know what I think about it?
No.
About the show? Yeah, tell me. Vader,
Final
give us your
thoughts,
thoughts.
give it a rating.
Give it a rating. Outer Range.
Outer Range is a mysterious, messy, and doesn't answer questions in a nicely tidy package. It's dark, obscure, confounding, and great fun to watch as we all wander as if blindfolded. Wow, something. That's way too long to read. But,
It's a hot take.
One and a half stars. I hated it. It's so random. It's incredibly badly written. It was made for an extremely niche audience. I'm going to leave it at that.
It's true.
Is that an actual review?
Yeah, that's from Rotten Tomatoes.
Jesus Christ.
That's my go-to place from now on.
Don't listen to Rotten Tomatoes. Unless you're listening to us. Give us a 5-star rating on Apple TV or Apple iTunes. So
we really need to get to that 200 mark. Right?
Yeah.
I
Get
like
us 200
other
ratings.
people's bad reviews. They're way more fun than ours. So,
All right, guys, that's it. Thank you all for being with us for the last couple of weeks talking about Outer Range. I've had a blast. Tom, thank you. I love having you on, man. You're a great personality to have on the show. Kadish, I love your insights. It's been wonderful. I've thoroughly enjoyed this last couple of weeks, and I have absolutely no idea what I'm going to do for the Monday night show going forward. So if you guys have any ideas, throw them in the comments right now, or hit us up at saltynerddiscord.com. Jump in the Discord app. I have a server specifically for our late night Salty Nerd podcast show. You can give me ideas on what we want to cover next. I have one interview set up for early June, and that's about it. So any other ideas, let us know. But as always, thank you for being here. Really appreciate it.
no more interviews. No more interviews until we get one we have published.
We've got like a backlog.
No. This is gonna be for me. It's a live interview. We'll sit down.
You didn't hear what I said. No more interviews until we get the ones we have published.
That'll be published immediately.
Okay. And I got one more 3-star review.
Okay.
For this show.
3 stars.
All right.
Not bad.
I got to go, guys. I got to go back to work.
Okay. All right, buddy.
Vader can read reviews from
It's
people.
really quick.
Rewind those VHSs.
It's 4 words. It's 4 words, Tom.
All right, guys. Talk to you later.
See you later, buddy.
Needs more whole focus. Needs more whole focus. That's it. That's all the review.
Okay.
So, that's it.
Yeah,
Great.
The void hole.
The void hole.
Needs more whole focus. I love you guys.
All right, everybody. That's it for the live stream. We're doing a watch party for Firefly. I don't know what episode it is, but it's the Janestown episode with Adam Baldwin as the hero.
7.
Yeah, episode 7, the hero of Janestown, or Jane, whatever it's called.
It's just
Anyway,
Janestown.
it's a great show. It's a great episode. I've watched it multiple times this week already. So if you want to join us in the Discord app, head over to saltynerd.discord.com, jump in there and scroll all the way to the bottom. There is a watch party tab, and you can click on there and check out the show with us. Another $2 super chat. Thanks, guys. Thank you guys for being here every week. I love it, and I love seeing our numbers going up. When we first started this Outer Range thing, we had like 2 people in the chat. Now we're up to 15, 16, which is really cool. So
That's really good, man. You're doing a good job.
shut up, you Star Trek haters. With your freaking 111 viewers. Whatever. People are much easier to get riled up on the negative things. You talk about something good, nobody wants to show up.
We talk about good stuff too.
How was Stranger Things? You guys like it?
We did like it.
Strange New World.
Strange New World?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I liked it too. I had a really good time with it. All right, that's it for the live stream. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you for being here. Adios.